My dream at that time was I just want a desk drawer. When I grow up, I just want a desk drawer. Little known fact is I'm actually a florist, a licensed florist.
What?
Yes. They don't understand what a cloud on title is. All of those things are kind of industry specific.
What is the cloud?
A cloud on title, that means we have a problem.
Damn, that's crazy. So sometimes you been keeping up with the NAR stuff?
Yes.
How does that affect you? Any? So I want to go back to the big event you had with the New Year's Eve party. Is that going to be like a every year thing? Welcome to the Nest Podcast, where we discuss real estate, health, wealth, and life. Today's guest is Miss Mitzi Mayeux with SoCo Title. Mitzi, thank you for coming on.
This is a fabulous setup you have here. I feel like I'm in NASA or something. It's like amazing. The lights and...
Well, you had a lot to do with it.
Did I?
You did. I don't know if you remember. We had lunch. I think it was January 23. And we were talking about changes in the industry. And you said something along the lines of, you weren't going to be afraid and you were going to run straight into the burning building. And that resonated a lot with me.
Did it?
It did.
Bad advice often resonates with you.
Not bad advice. Well, look, you're here and it got your attention. So must not be too bad.
We're both here. And I think it's because we both ran straight into the burning building.
That's right.
That's right.
So you did something big.
Yes.
The New Year's Eve party. Now, granted, it was 12 months later, but...
Yes.
And for good reason.
We did that to basically celebrate and our new company, to celebrate our customers and our clients and the industry as a whole. And, just the new year, I guess, too. But it was a great party.
It was. I got there, or Anya and I got there, and we just kind of we're stupefied.
What was your favorite part?
I don't know. I like that it was, just fancy. Everything. I know it wasn't cheap.
It wasn't real cheap, no.
It was worth it.
I hope so.
I think it was memorable.
That, I believe it was. I think our special guests had a lot to do with that. You know, the fire dancers and our little people, servers and... the band and all the people who helped and all the people who came to support us. That was very important.
It was warm. I think I was served filet mignon with the people walking around with food.
Yeah, Stacy's was our caterer. She did a great job.
Nice. Who was the party planner?
Me.
All of it?
All of it. No
way.
Yes.
How'd you have time to do that? How far in advance?
I made Peter do all the work.
Does do all the work mean swipe the credit card?
No, I do that. That's my job.
That's your job?
Yes.
Okay.
Swiping the credit card. I'm very good at that, at home and at work.
How early did you have to start planning?
So we didn't start planning that party until November.
Really?
November was when we made the switch from Cypress to SoCo.
That's true.
And we wanted a way to introduce our company, our new name, our new brand. And we thought, what better way to do it than with a kickoff party? So it was a little stressful trying to get everything lined up and together. We were down to the wire on the day of, but it all came off without a hitch. And I think everybody had a really good time.
They did. That's impressive that it turned out the way that it did. You were in the middle of starting a company, essentially.
Right.
I mean, it was pre-existing, but you.
It was basically a rebranding.
Yeah.
What we did.
But during during Thanksgiving, during football season, during Christmas, all the holidays.
You just got to surround yourself with great people, Derek. If you do that, no problem. You can do anything.
So for those not watching, Cypress to SoCo, you can walk people through that. So previously, SoCo, which is short for
Southern Compass Title, not Southern Comfort Title, although we will answer to anything.
I haven't had Southern Comfort since I was 19, I think.
Me either.
Okay. Cypress before.
Yes.
How long were you Cypress?
We were with Cypress for 5 years, and
Okay.
we loved Cypress. We loved that company. We loved the attorneys that we worked with. Uh, at some point, the market changed, and the finances of it didn't make sense. Peter and I decided that it was time to basically cut out the middleman
Sure.
and do our own thing. So they were very gracious in the transition, made it easy for us, and we're still partners. In some ways with them. They refer to us, we refer to them. It was a great thing.
And part of being able to do that, I mean, you had grown the brand here well.
Right.
I mean, if you hadn't, you wouldn't have been able to make the move as successfully as you probably would
Right.
have otherwise.
Well, we were working here and in Lake Charles and in New Iberia. Since we started in November, I don't know if you know this, we opened an Alexandria office.
I did not.
Yep. So we're excited. I mean, it's gone, knock on wood, it's gone great so far.
Nice. So amidst the transition from building to building, the rebranding, you have a ton of space, do a ton of work. You can't do it by yourself. I
Absolutely
imagine
not.
you have a pretty supportive staff. I know I feel like continuity is always good when I'm there.
I feel like I work with a team of rock stars every day. I always believe in surrounding myself with people who are smarter than I am. And my staff is pretty much second to none. We have Alex Hebert, attorney, does a great job. We have all of the girls of the office, Meryl, Taylor, Laura, Lori. I mean, everybody, Tasha, Tammy. Oh, Tammy. Love Tammy.
You were getting to the T's.
I was trying to remember
I was
everyone.
letting you roll through the L's.
I don't want to forget anyone. We have Kaylee, Catherine. This is just the Lafayette office. That's the Lafayette Rockstar team. I mean, we have a stellar team in Lake Charles with Jordan and Heidi. And then our new team in Alexandria is just coming out on fire. So I'm really blessed to be surrounded by people that I call, friends, family, and that they're really dedicated, hardworking people. Then I just love to be around them. So I'm blessed.
It makes a difference.
Yes.
How long have you been in Alexandria?
We opened Alexandria in January
of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And we got our eye on a few more locations.
Really?
Yeah.
I had the good fortune to meet one of the top producers in that market, in the Alexandria market. I'll have to connect. We'll have to travel, go have lunch one day.
Oh yeah. I'll show you the new office.
Yep.
Yep.
So you said you and Peter,
Mm-hmm.
you came to Cyprus together?
Yes. Peter and I started at another title company where we met about 10, 11 years ago.
Okay.
And I tell this story all the time. We worked together for years. We shared a kitchen table as our desk. And
I haven't heard that story.
You haven't heard that story?
I'm all ears.
we shared a kitchen table. And if anybody needed the table, we had to hurry up and pack up our things and make it look like that wasn't where we worked. And we did that for a long time and basically got to know everything about each other. I mean, it's inevitable if you're sitting that close daily with someone that you would just learn their personality inside and out. My dream at that time was I just want a desk drawer. When I grow up, I just want a desk drawer. And we would laugh and joke because we had really no home. But it was a fantastic experience because of how we got to know each other. So when we left there and went with Cypress, we actually got desks with drawers. It was cool.
Did you have one drawer or like multiple?
I only had one drawer because the desks were kind of modern looking.
Gotcha.
So, and by that time we're just about paperless right now. Okay. In our office.
Currently or at that time when Cypress started?
When we started, we with Cypress, we had a system, the same system we have now. And it was a new system at that time that we had to learn. But we're pretty paperless. The only thing we print right now is our abstracts.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we just wanted a desk drawer. That was it. It's our dream. You got to dream big.
Wow. I thought the bar would have been a lot higher for a lady with a law school degree.
Nope. I'm a simple girl.
Did you miss, now the place where you were originally, you were in the circle at River Ranch. So you were like right by Rhythms on the River and
Yep.
all the,
Our first location with Cypress was down Collie Saloon on the other end by East Broussard.
yeah.
And we loved that office. It was a beautiful office. But we when we moved in, they started the road construction. So for the first few years, that was very inconvenient. And I think they completed it as soon as we moved to our new location. So, that's life.
Yeah. I think my first, I know my first closing that I ever had was actually with Peter on Valentine's Day in 2017.
Is it over yet?
Why do you say that?
Well, Peter's notoriously long-winded. In a good way, I hear. I hear he's very funny and entertaining, but you might should prepare to be at the closing table for a hot minute.
But you're super fast though.
Super fast.
Super fast. Is that because you're left-handed?
I think so. It has a lot to do with it. Aren't you left-handed?
I am.
Yep.
I am.
That's it.
I don't know if I'm that fast then. But you are speedy. I remember that because I think one of the first times that I had met you was at the Collie Saloon location. I didn't meet you at an event or anything. It was actually at a closing. And I remember like allotting a certain amount of time with commute and whatever I was doing next. And I had this big gap of time in between like finishing up with closing and going to whatever my next appointment was.
I'm of the opinion that no one really needs to hear me talk. That's why this podcast is sort of a struggle.
Oh, come on.
No, seriously.
No, you're fine. Your husband's an attorney.
Yes. He's a criminal defense attorney.
So
I'm the happy lawyer,
Okay.
and he is the unhappy lawyer.
Okay. So who wins arguments at home?
Me.
All the time?
Yes. Of course. Doesn't your wife win every time?
Well, she's not a lawyer. I joke all the time she shouldn't go to law school.
She should have been.
Yeah.
I know.
So we had to take a pause earlier to mute your phone. I think your daughters were both reaching out to you during the exact time we had blocked off to sit down today.
Yes.
They're both out of high school now, right?
Correct. So I have one, she's going to be 24 in May. She lives in Washington, D.C. And I have one that is going to be 21 in October, and she lives in Baton Rouge. She goes to LSU.
So she'll be a junior in the fall.
Correct.
How's that working out? So you're home
It's great.
with Clay. Do you have dogs?
I have 2 dogs,
Okay.
2 English Springer Spaniels, and life is good. Empty nesting is good. You will like it one day.
Did it take you a minute to get there? Like where you sat it, you had to have been probably happy for the girls, but like what did that transition time
There
look
was a
like?
bit of an adjustment, but I think we started kind of preparing for it before it happened. So
How'd you do that?
we kind of started talking about it. So, hey, like what's this going to look like when they are, what are we going to do? So we kind of came to a mutual agreement, and right now it's like we're dating. So it's pretty awesome.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, you can. I mean, mine are 8.5 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to get caught up. I mean, you forget each other
Right.
because
Your focus
the world revolves around the kids.
always, yeah.
Yeah.
And as it should be. But it's some people just, once the kids are gone, they just break up. I mean, there's it's one of 2 ways this is going to go.
Yeah.
And no, we're great. Everything's knock on wood. Everything's wonderful.
You know, it would have been funny if the 2 of you would have like started modern dating when the dating thing happened and that you each would have set up a profile like on whatever those websites are and then like met each other online and go on a date?
Maybe, yeah, maybe we should do that. That might be, but I think that would leave room for problems. That, yeah, it might not be good.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I don't think that was out whenever Anya and I
No.
kind of got
Oh,
together.
no. Mm-mm. I don't even think we had cell phones when we got together.
You didn't have a Zach Morris phone?
A what phone?
A Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell? No. Oh, come on. You know what I'm talking about? Those motor. We'll have to put a picture of Zach Morris talking on the phone so she can see. You've never heard that reference
I was
before?
not a big Saved by the Bell kind of girl. Oh,
Oh, yeah?
yeah, my sister really liked that show, but I didn't.
No.
No.
It went down in pop culture lore as an all-timer.
Yeah,
Yeah. We'll have to find it on the internet and send you an episode.
I'm familiar. I just wasn't really a big fan.
So what inspired you initially to go to law school?
When I was 2, my dad said that I was going to be a lawyer. And
Okay.
so that,
No,
you know,
there's no way you remember that. They told you this story.
they've told me, well, I've been told that I was going to be a lawyer for my whole life, basically.
But it started at 2.
It started, I don't know, probably before I was born, it probably started.
Okay.
And
Why do you think that is? Your parents attorneys?
No, my mom worked for a phone company, and my dad was a teacher and then a principal. And he worked for the school board later on in life. But I think he just wanted better for me than what they had. We didn't grow up with lots of money. I mean, just middle class,
Sure.
you know. And I think he just wanted me to be successful and do more, and that was his way of doing it. I was never going to be a doctor. That blood is not my thing. That's not going to happen. So at first he wanted me to be a tax attorney,
Okay.
but accounting was very much a struggle for me, even then as it is today.
That's a real thing.
it is.
I have a bachelor's in finance.
Yeah, accounting
And
was,
I don't, it does not.
no, it didn't click. So that was out. So we went to law school, and I think if I'd have been left to my own devices, I'd probably be an interior designer
Okay.
or something fun. Little known fact is I'm actually a florist, a licensed florist.
What?
Yes. I love to create things like that, make places beautiful. I like that.
Okay. So I didn't know that. And I heard you say licensed.
Yeah, you have to be in Louisiana crazy if you want to arrange flowers like for other people. You have to have a license.
Did you know that?
You have to take a test and be licensed by the state.
No way.
Yes.
So if you would just start selling flowers
No,
out of the lobby at SoCo,
No.
that would be against the law.
Yes, you can't do that.
What?
You have to be licensed.
I did not know that.
Yeah. The florist lobby is better than the NAR, I think.
Dang.
They protect their people.
I've never heard that.
Yep.
I don't know that I ever would have if you didn't come on today. Do they have letters that you can put at the end of your name, like
I didn't-
JD and
I
all
didn't
that?
get any letters. No, I didn't get any letters.
So you would have been well,
Maybe.
when did you get licensed?
Oh gosh.
Like
This
in
was-
in law school?
No. This was when my kids were little. I was bored. I started off working as a law clerk
Okay.
when the kids were little.
For a judge.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I was bored. So I got my florist license. And I did that. I did weddings and stuff for a little while. And then
Like you had a business or it was word of mouth?
I had a business. Well, I had an LLC. I didn't have like a shop, but
Gotcha.
I just had like a small business.
Did you have to hire a lawyer to do your paperwork or you did it yourself?
I did it myself. I know, right? Scandalous.
Okay. So you did
So
it.
I did that. And then that's how I came into real estate, because I went to the judge that I was clerking for and I said, I'm kind of bored. I think I'm going to quit, because the kids were in school at this time, and law clerking is not full time. It's just very part time.
I didn't know that. Like quit law or just
No,
quit,
just quit like clerking.
Okay.
And he said, please don't quit. He said, why don't you do transactional work like on the side part-time. And at that time, Clay was doing basically all sorts of work. You know, he was basically just a small town lawyer who handled
Right.
anything. He
Until
said,
until he got in the groove with.
right. And he said, I'll give you all my real estate work because I hate it and I don't like doing it. I said, okay, well, I don't really know how to do that, but here we go.
Okay.
So, my first closing, I did everything. I was the receptionist, the abstractor, the title review person, the pre-closer, the closer, the post-closer.
Hmm.
I did it all, and I did a really bad job, I would bet. But I learned a lot doing that,
Quickly.
and quickly because you know I was under the gun,
Sure.
and I just started doing them on my own for several years. Like I just did that as like basically a side hustle.
And what was the gap of time from when you started doing that to the time that you and Peter started working together?
I probably did that probably at least 6 years before, just 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
And then and then I transitioned, got on with a company, you know, and then I didn't have to do all of the jobs, which was great because I wasn't really gifted in all of those areas. But I did learn every aspect of the system doing that. So that was good.
Yeah. So it's helpful when you're running a business if you know how all the parts work.
Oh, it's very helpful. Yeah. You know, I can see if there's, you know, if somebody comes to me with an issue, I actually understand what the issue is.
And was there a catalyst that got you from doing it the way you were doing it to the first company you went to? Or was it just a natural progression?
It was just a natural progression.
Gotcha.
And, you know, but I think that experience really helped me grow. And like you say, I can troubleshoot any area because I worked in all of them. So it was good. It was a good experience. Scary, but still good.
Are either of the girls doing law?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I want them to.
Both or just one of them?
Well, I don't. So my oldest one wants to run political campaigns.
Okay.
That is like her thing. And so I think a law degree or just even an advanced degree would help her with that. The younger one, I'm not sure she knows what she wants to do. I think they both don't want to work for me.
So that just means they don't have to do real estate. Doesn't mean they don't have to do
Right.
law.
Right. And I mean, if they don't have a law degree, that's okay. But any kind of advanced degree, I just think gives them an edge.
Sure.
You know, we'll see.
So you said one of them's in DC. That's the
My
one that's
oldest.
doing the political campaigns.
That's Mia.
Okay.
Yep.
How is that going? It's a whole nother world.
It's a whole, she's learning a lot. She says it's not like home. It's a little different. It's not the South. I think she'd like to come back closer to home.
So not getting disinterested or disenchanted with anything involving politics per se. It's just she'd rather be doing the politics stuff here.
Yeah, I think so.
Gotcha.
I think so. I think she likes the people here. I mean, I think that's a cliche that everybody kind of says, but in some aspects, it's true.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there's a lot of, I mean, everyone from all over the country, all over the world goes there. So it's not going to be quite like here, I wouldn't think.
no. But, you know, there's no place like home.
That's right. So you're my first non-realtor guest on the podcast.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What's a common misconception about title attorneys that you think kind of exist in the lexicon of our industry?
I'm not sure if this exists in the industry, so to speak, but I think that the general public, they don't understand what we do. Like in general, no one understands what I do for like on a daily basis. They don't know what an abstract is. They don't know what researching title means. They don't understand what a cloud on title is. All of those things are kind of, you know, industry specific and not well known with the general Joe Blow on the street.
What is the cloud?
A cloud on title, that means we have a problem.
Okay.
So a cloud on title could be anything from a missing heir, a document not executed properly. It could be a judgment. Lots of people don't know that if you have a child support judgment pending against you, and it's filed in the clerk's records, that you cannot sell your property until that is canceled. Because
And
any,
satisfying.
that's right, any judgments,
Meaning like
meaning paid, yeah,
in full.
right. Any judgments of any kind or liens or anything, liens, I think they kind of understand that relates to the property, but a judgment, they don't get why, if I didn't pay Ford my car note, what does that have to do with my house? And has a lot to do with your house.
I know on our end you can't owe money to the government. So for us it's child support, spousal support, tax money, and what's the other one? Student loans.
Yeah. Well,
Just kind of like student loans can't get brushed in with a bankruptcy.
yeah, it's really anything of record for us.
Okay.
So anything that's filed at the courthouse, any judgment, say you get in a car wreck and you get sued and they get a judgment against you in State Farm. Well, until that judgment is paid, you cannot sell your property. If you're getting a loan, you can't get the loan until that's paid because your lender wants to be ranked first. And if that judgment is filed before you buy the house, the lender won't be. So that's what we do. We make sure that the lender is in the first lien position, meaning that mortgage ranks anything, and that the buyer has clear title with no cloud to the property.
And the first lien position is important. So I always think of it in the context of, you said clap your shoes, made me think of the Wizard of Oz. So I would say like if a tornado from the Wizard of Oz comes and takes your house away,
Right.
but you still owe on it, they want to get that loan needs to be paid off first.
Right. So in the event that the buyer would quit paying their mortgage and the lender needs to foreclose, they want to make sure that they get their money before anybody else.
That's right. Because if there's judgments ahead of them where they go to liquidate
They
the
would
property
rank
later.
second or
Right.
third.
Gotcha.
So that's what we do. But I don't think anybody understands exactly what we do. So I mean, that's part of what we do as attorneys.
Well,
As real estate attorneys, the title company does a whole lot more work.
yeah.
You know,
If I buy a house and say title work isn't done for whatever reason, or it's not done well, and I go to sell later, and I think my net proceeds from sale after everyone gets paid and the loan is paid off, I'm going to make $100,000, but there's a $50,000 lien on the property from an owner or two before.
right.
I'm not netting 100. I'm actually going to net 50.
Unless you have title insurance. But if you didn't run title, you won't have the title insurance,
The owner's title.
the owner's title policy.
Gotcha.
So always, always, always recommend. The owner's title policy is optional, as you know. The lender's policy is mandated because the lender is always going to be protected. They're not loaning money and not protecting it.
Sure.
The owner's policy is optional. And lots of people get to the closing table and want to take it off. They want to save $600 or however much it is. It's based on the loan amount or the value of the property, depending on which policy we're talking about. They always want to take it off. To them at that point in time, that's the new sofa or, the new rug or whatever they want for their house, which I get it. That's important. But the policy is a one-time fee that will protect your investment in the future. So if you do go to sell and there's an issue, a cloud on the title, you have an insurance policy that will protect you. So you will have an attorney from the insurance company to fix that problem and or give you your money back on the transaction if they can't fix it. So it's very, very important. I have a lot of lenders who will just take it off to make the numbers, the bottom line look great. You're not one of those, but they'll do it. And they don't even talk to the client about it. That's just a bad practice.
Well, I know on the preliminary closing disclosures, it shows up as optional. So people will ask about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell them to call.
Call us.
Yeah, it's not really, I mean, I can kind of explain it, but I probably couldn't do it
Right.
justice, even if you gave me a script to read,
Yeah, you could.
you know, but it's not ours
Yeah.
to kind of mess with. So
Yeah.
I'd
I know
rather
some of
deny
the
it.
agents recommend also to take it off. I would never do that. There's been court cases where agents were sued because they told them, I think you could take it off, and then they needed it. So just tell them to call us. If they have any
Now it
questions.
follows them for the life of ownership of the home.
Forever. Yes.
Okay. Now, I think a common misconception, or at least I think of it too, if the lender's title policy kicks in, there's just kind of some umbrella protection. Is that a misconception?
The lender's policy only protects the lender, does not protect the homeowner. So it would only protect the lender like in case of default, and then the lender was trying to sell the property. Okay. If the owner's trying to sell the property and there's a title problem, they can't invoke the lender's policy.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They have to have that owner's
I
policy.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Or they just keep the property.
Okay. Because I always thought like you kind of are already, like if they're going to protect themselves, you inherently like get to
Right.
benefit from that.
Nope.
Interesting.
It is specific to that lender or to the owner, depending on which one. So it's good to have. I buy them. When I bought my house, I bought the title policy.
Yeah.
And that is not because I thought our title work was bad. It's because you don't know what you don't know. So you don't know what's not recorded or what could be misfiled, or you don't know that there could be a missing heir, or a lien is misindexed
Okay.
or anything like that. The policy would cover all of those things.
So what I'm hearing you say is when you do title work, you can only go based off of what's in public record.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So if there's something misindexed by the clerk and my abstractor doesn't pull it, I want that policy there to protect me.
Sure.
So, I mean, attorneys, real estate attorneys buy title insurance.
Yeah, because you see that. You see
Yeah,
all
we
the
see the
other
benefits
stuff on
of
the
it.
backside too.
Yeah.
And the horror stories about things that can happen.
Right.
I know the first time I had someone tell me a story about it was actually you at one of the closings, because you had something going on at that time. I forget what year it was, but I think y'all were involved with it, where someone had sold
Yes.
some land to 3 different people
On the same day.
on the same day, quick before paperwork could catch up.
Correct. It was a property in Jennings. And so that was out of parish. So we had to overnight the deed. It was a cash sale. The seller sold to 3 different people on the same day. And so basically at that point, it was a rush to the courthouse because whoever records first
Is the owner of record.
wins, right?
Wow.
So our deed, because we overnighted it, did not get there first because the person I guess the one he wanted to have it, brought it to the courthouse that
Signed
day.
it, physically
Signed it
drove
and
it
went
over.
there.
Yeah.
Well, the seller skipped town after my buyer found out when he went to the property, and there were 2 other gentlemen there saying, "No, I'm the owner. No, I'm the owner." So after that happened, he called us, my buyer, and said, what do I do? And he had bought the owner's policy. So the insurance company not only started to fight as, that basically it was fraud, the other 2 contracts, but they also gave him his money back that he bought the house with.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, title insurance.
Worth it.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not just prepaid legal insurance.
No.
It's for losses and damages and stuff
Absolutely.
like that.
Absolutely.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
You should do a lender lunch and learn
a lender lunch and learn. Yeah, maybe.
on optional owner's title insurance.
Y'all don't want to talk to me.
Come on. I know I don't show it on the front end, but just because I never know if people will decline it or not. But a lot of people leave it off just to make the numbers look small.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. And I mean, I get it. Everybody wants to look good at the closing table, and we try to make everybody look good. But it's just a risk that I don't want to take for myself.
Sure.
So I wouldn't recommend anybody take it either.
What is the most extreme example You know, we were talking about sellers unexpectedly finding out that they owed money.
Hmm.
I'm sure sometimes it is a surprise. A lot of times they probably know, and then you have to make them understand, you know, that their proceed check's going to be smaller. I imagine you've had people unexpectedly have to come to closing with money
Oh
to
yeah.
sell a house before.
Yeah.
What's the biggest, like, the biggest number I'm sure you've seen some whoppers.
We've seen some crazy numbers. Lots of people during the COVID era like deferred their payments. I know that that was a thing, and they didn't understand
The deferred principal.
that when they did that, that was not going to be a good thing in the future going forward. So we call that an upside down seller. So our seller's upside down, meaning they're not getting a check, they're bringing a check. And many of them don't understand that because the payoff when they call does not include the deferred balance. So that's a big scary thing, because even when agents are doing their net sheet to show that the seller what they're going to get at the closing table,
Well, how would they know?
they don't know. Nobody knows. When we call to get the final payoff, that's when we find out. And by that time, they're under contract, all the delays have passed, and somebody is not happy.
So the workflow almost has to be that you do that twice. One, to get it up front, even though it won't be the most current one that you need a few days before closing,
Yeah.
just to make sure.
We order payoffs as soon as we open the file.
Okay.
And then we try to get updated if the closing goes more than 30 days. We try to get the payoffs 30 days out. And then lots of sellers are confused by that because their payoff is more than they thought it was going to be, but that's because we add interest
Sure.
to make sure we can cover it, you know, that kind of thing. They'll get it back.
So you probably have deals fall apart because sometimes sellers don't have the money to come to closing to actually pay to sell their house,
Correct.
or certain instances they refuse,
Yes.
and then the deals fall apart.
Deals fall apart all the time, especially in this market. And it's challenging for everyone because everyone does work, you know, on the file up to, and then you get to the day of closing and
Yeah.
somebody says, "Oh, I'm not going to show up." I mean, we have cost out. My abstractor is going to get paid whether that file closes or not.
Sure.
So, but we don't. It's just kind of the cost of doing business, right?
Yeah, it's tricky. I know I don't order title till I know inspection negotiations are done.
Right.
It's not about going fast. It's about being mindful of stuff like that too. Like
Right.
I know you got to eat stuff like that.
Right.
You know, we pull credit reports, cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't close everybody that I pull a credit report for.
Right.
So what, damn, that's crazy. So sometimes people just don't show up.
Oh yeah.
How does that work? Like, so you have buyers there, you have two realtors there, you're there.
Usually we have a heads up that they're not going to show up before it actually happens. But in that case, I recommend that everyone still come to the closing. We set the closing and we basically, I don't know, make a record that, you know, the closing was scheduled. They were notified. Everyone came, signed their part, and then one party or the other did not show up.
Now, once you're past due diligence, the same way the buyer has potential penalties for breaking the contract, does the seller have one at that
Oh,
point?
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Have you ever represented a buyer where a seller skipped town like that? Or are you?
We don't litigate.
Okay.
So, like I said, I'm the happy lawyer. I only do happy things. Litigation to me would not be happy.
Yeah.
We like to make people smile.
What type of, I know anyone with a law degree can do it, but what subspecialty would actually litigate that? Would that be?
That would just be a business litigation kind of attorney.
Okay.
I mean, the problem with those types of cases is there's not a lot of money involved, or there is a lot of money involved, but nobody to pay it, right? If the buyer is backing out of the contract because they can't afford to buy the house and the seller sues them, well, are you really going to ever collect on that judgment?
Right.
You know? So,
Similarly, if a seller doesn't have the money to be able to pay,
right.
what are you going to
What are
really
you going to get?
other than court costs and
Right.
retainers
So
and
it's
stuff like that?
I mean, it's a tough one. Because I mean, oftentimes I see cases where it's just open and shut. They're clearly in breach of contract and you clearly have a claim. But then you have to weigh you kind of have to do a cost benefit analysis and decide if filing suit, paying an attorney is really worth it at the end. And, it's hard to kind of make that determination.
What's the biggest number you've ever seen somebody being upside down?
Oh, geez.
6 figures?
Oh, no, I haven't seen them that big.
Nothing crazy like that.
No, nothing crazy like that. No, usually I'd say when we get anywhere between 20 and 50,000, things start going sideways quick. Who wants to pay that much to sell their house? At that point, they're just like, I'm just going to stay.
Sure.
Yeah, the numbers just don't make sense. So, and then, if it's just a little bit of money, then we can make things happen. Lots of times agents will, cut their commission. We might cut our fees. The lender might cut their fees. We kind of work so that everyone gets paid a little bit. It's a team effort to get to the closing table, as you know. And so lots of times the parties will come together and we'll do teamwork. But sometimes it's just, there's no way. I mean, the team can only do so much.
Right.
But we do try.
You been keeping up with the NAR stuff?
Yes.
How does that affect you? Any?
I don't know yet. I think it's too soon to tell. There's, it's hard to tell how to look at it right now because we don't know what the final
Sure.
outcome is going to be.
A lot of people are making preparations, adjustments
Yes.
for something they're not going to be, they're not 100% sure yet how
Right.
it's actually
Trying
all
to
gonna
get
set
ahead of
out.
the curve on that. But like you said, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. I think it's too soon to tell. It looks like things will shift a bit. If it comes down like some people are saying, then buyers are going to have to come up with the money to pay their agent and or negotiate it with the seller at the time of closing, which is different than, a little bit different than what we do now. But I mean, I think our agents will always be here.
The pathway's a little different. The destination's the same.
Right. I mean,
Sellers can not want to do certain things all they want, but how, maybe their house, they can't sell it. I think ultimately, if I had to take a guess, I think the National Realtor Association is going to, or National Association, or NAR is going to lobby the agencies, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, HUD,
Right.
all those. I think they're going to modify seller concession limits, allowable cost to a buyer.
yeah.
I mean, there's been an explosion of non-repayable grants and down payment assistance programs.
Yeah.
So if people don't have money for a down payment or the closing cost.
How are they going to pay an agent?
Yeah, I mean.
And who wants to do this without an agent? I mean, for sale by owner deals or the deals where there's no agents involved, those are a nightmare for us.
They call us too. Like, hey, I need to do a contract. I'm like, look, I'm not professionally trained, nor do I have liability coverage for any of that.
Right. I mean,
I've seen 600, 700, 800 of them. Could probably do it 96% correct most of the time. But
I mean, being an agent is a full-time job. Who
It
wants to have another full-time job?
have you ever seen the lists? I've seen realtors post lists of all the things that you do.
Right.
Right. It's hard whenever someone asks you, but like if you actually sit down, I'll give you an example. So I was thinking I had to, earlier in the year, not too long after our meeting, I sat down one day and I was like, man, I don't know. Like I need to do videos. What am I going to talk about? And Anya told me, she was like, look, I can probably do like 60% of your job because you have the same conversations over and over and over and over again. So one Saturday or Sunday morning, I'm on the couch and I open up the notes app on my phone and I just start talking. And then I kept talking. And the list, it was, I didn't appreciate what I actually knew until I wrote it all down and how many steps there were and how many options people have, what they are, if this, then that, debunking myths, tips and tricks, best practices. It's extensive.
Right.
You do a lot of stuff. I do a lot of stuff. They do a lot. That's why we don't all do, like I don't wear both hats.
Right.
How do you even do that?
I don't tell them which loan program to pick. I have no idea.
Yeah.
You're the expert on that. You know,
So I think it would be, I think people will try it at first, but they're gonna have a panic attack.
right. Because I don't know how to, like look at a house without an agent. How do I get in? How do I schedule that? Do I call the listing agent and then do they charge me, or how is that going to work? It
Yeah.
seems like a nightmare.
It's before we bought this house before I got licensed again. I was licensed when I was younger. And I know I had a conversation with the realtor that helped us buy this house. And she would send me a lot of properties. I needed a certain thing. And I remember telling her at one point, I was like, hey, look, I am cool. Like every once in a while, maybe there'll be an off market thing that I'm not aware of. I sit in front of a computer all day. I'll send you a list of things and then ask for your feedback. But what I need you to go to the house. I need you to protect me during inspection negotiations. I need your eyes. Kim was on here, said I have to be in it, touch it, feel it, smell it, taste it, all that stuff. She wasn't bullshitting. That is real stuff.
Yeah.
You can't just get that experience all of a sudden.
Well, no. And as a first time home buyer, you've never done this before.
Nope.
You can't be an expert level agent and not ever have done a transaction before.
You can be a second and third time home buyer.
Right.
I mean, I talk to people who buy their third and fourth house, and the conversations that we have, and I'm not talking about like the current environment and stuff. I'm just talking about in general.
Yeah.
Like what happens when you buy a house and it's like, but this is your fourth one. Look, a use it or lose it.
Right.
I might be an expert at something right now. If I don't do it for 5 years again, I'm going to forget. But I have a lot of first time home buyer conversations with people that are older than me.
Right. And what are we going to do? Like if there's a bidding war,
Right.
how's that going to work? Like, how am I going to, negotiate a contract?
And not be emotional.
Right. I mean, I think it would be very difficult to do this. I see it. It's difficult for people to do this on their own. Can it be done? Yes.
Of course. Has it been done? Yes.
Yes.
Will it continue to be done? Yes. But if you were to 80% of them, maybe more, they always need. And look, people work during the day.
Right.
A lot of people have been moving here since COVID. California, New York, Illinois, coming to Florida, Texas, down here. Had somebody call me from Wyoming.
Oh.
Yeah, like, what made you want to come here? It's just it's so random. And she said we came down there and we just decided we wanted to move. Seems like a great place.
Really nice people.
Yeah.
That's it.
All of that. Well, we'll see how it plays out. I asked you, I feel like I saw on social media that, didn't you have like a watch party for?
Yeah.
Okay. What was that?
It was a podcast that we watched. Basically, we put it on in the realtor lounges on the TVs.
Okay.
And it was national agents and maybe a lender, I don't remember, talking about how they thought how it was gonna all shake out. And I mean, it's all, hypothesis right now. We don't know. So
did anybody mention what I said about it being absorbed into the financing?
There was a great concern about the government loans. And because I think right now, what's the rule for the government loans?
I think the biggest point of contention is for veterans with VA.
Right.
VA is very strict about allowable fees.
And commission is not one of those fees.
Definitely is not.
Okay.
There are several, not just like currently.
I think the comment was, what are we going to do? Just make all the vets homeless now?
That's a great question.
It's crazy.
It's a great question. I think they'll just start raising limits. The government loans typically have 6% seller concessions.
Right.
Maybe that gets bumped up to 8%.
Right.
Who knows? Roll it into a loan like a funding fee.
Yeah. I mean,
hard to say.
Change the language in the statute and fix it.
I think ultimately it'll still kind of be the way it is now. Just different conversations up front.
Yeah.
About who's doing what. And like you said, we'll see how it plays out.
We'll see.
Cool. So I want to go back to the big event you had with the New Year's Eve kind of rebranding party. What do you have? Is that going to be like a every year thing?
We hope so.
Yeah.
We haven't come up with a theme for next year yet. We're still working on that. That's in process right now. We're not sure how we're going to top last year's. So, but we'll give it a good try.
I would tell you, I understand your response and probably how you feel about that. Pretty high bar.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was a good party.
So what's on tap for the rest of the year? Anything else?
Yes, we have our crawfish boil coming up May 9th
Okay.
at the office. So we'll have music.
I think I missed the one last year.
Did you? You should come.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
We're having a grand opening of a new location that we have in River Ranch the Thursday before.
Right.
So I'll just block out Thursday party days.
Yeah. May 2nd is yours.
May 2nd. Yep.
Yeah. And May 9th.
May 9th.
Right before rhythms. Everybody can still make rhythms if they want to go to either one, right? Yours is before as well.
Yep. I think ours is from, I forget, but we're basically setting it up as kind of like a pre-party.
Right.
3 to 5, 2:30 to 5, something like that. I'll have to go back and look.
Yeah.
So yours would be similar.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Should be fun.
Whose idea was it to have the stamps?
I don't remember.
Because I think one of the first closings I had at Cypress was with you. And then I walked out and saw this like tray of stamps by the front desk.
Yes.
And I looked and I said, what's this? I'd never seen that before.
You have a stamp.
Well, I know I have one now.
You
But
have to earn it.
I did. I did. What? So that wasn't one that you'll claim.
It could have been me, but honestly, I don't remember. I don't recall. But it could have been me.
So what do you do now? How do you respond when people do like what I did and they're like, "Hey, what's that?" You just say, "Hey, well, come more often. We'll get you one."
Well, the stamps are for our frequent flyers.
You should brand it as that.
Yeah. So, look, we like everyone to feel special when they come into our office.
Sure.
And if the stamps accomplish that, then great. But we do lots of other things to make people feel special. Like, wonderful cups made by my special vendor. Champagne at the closing table. If you want it, let us know. Mimosas, whatever.
I feel like a lot of people are having meetings and shooting, like not necessarily this, but
No, nobody can do this.
okay. Thank you.
This is next level.
Did it just like naturally evolve into that, or was that part of the vision whenever you got the new location?
It was part of the vision.
Okay.
We realized that there was a need in the industry with the online brokerages that don't have offices, that people work sort of floating, and lots of people don't like to work from home. So it was kind of envisioned that we would have a realtor lounge and kind of open it up to whoever needed it, because we realized there was a need and we had the space. We want everyone to feel like our office, it's home for us, but it should be home for everyone, for all of our clients. We want them to feel welcome, to come anytime, hang out, work, shoot a podcast, have a meeting, whatever. Do a closing. Those are nice too.
So do you have instances where you'll see someone walking in and you think they're there for a closing and they beeline it up the stairs to go?
Usually I know when there's a closing. Like,
Gotcha.
I watch those closely. But no, we're just happy to have them. We actually made an extra of like a flex space, another space for meetings, because we had so many people coming in. So now there's 2 spaces. And I hear the comment is that the lighting in the new space is better. So, word to the wise.
When did you do the new one?
We just converted the second conference room when it's not in use. We added a TV in there so that they can, plug up to do their meetings. We didn't have a TV in there before.
Okay.
So we also added a wine a wine shelf so they can.
You're talking about upstairs?
This one's downstairs.
This one's downstairs.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I've seen it yet.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's extra space, and I foresee in the future, buyer's agents may need a place to meet with clients, to sign contracts, that sort of thing. The office is open for all of that. Like, we really want to be a supportive company and help our agents as much as we can. So that's what the space is for.
I'll have to come check out the new one.
Yeah. I bring your lights.
You have a big building. I think I'll need bigger than the ones I have here.
I don't know. These are pretty impressive.
I thought about doing a site shoot, like not here. Maybe it'll evolve to that, but
Okay, let's do it.
we'll have to see.
I would absolutely love that.
I don't know how big these clamps are though. Your tables are pretty.
We can make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll make it work.
Okay. Well, I'll take you up on it. I don't know when,
Okay.
but if you get a random phone call that says, "Hey, I don't have enough mics for all the people that want to come sit here," I'll send you an invoice.
Anytime. Anytime. We could do a round robin.
A round robin.
Uh-huh.
I dig it. Well, Mitzi, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
for having me.